Low income in the States, for people who know and don't know, is broken down by dependents, right? Usually more people in your family or in your household that you're responsible of, more money comes out. That's usually how it works. It's math. Around $49,000 or less for a family of four is low class. I'll bracket it. Between $33,000 to $49,000 is low class. Anything under $33,000 a year, gross income, is basically living in poverty. Section 8, subsidized housing, welfare, another $10,000 to $15,000 more keeps you in lower class, right? In that bracket. If you think about it, that's just an extra, what? $500 to $600 a month after taxes. The lower class is very burdensome, right? You're looking to be a check or a job loss away from being in poverty. I want to paint this picture. This is true, so I don't want to paint propaganda, and I don't want to paint something false. This is real stuff you guys can look up. You need supplemental income, obviously. You need severe help and dependency on your local government, at least, to survive, not even live well, to survive. For a family of four in the States, that same income outside of the States, that puts you at around a top 5% for income earners. Same family, but more purchasing power outside of the States. Even if you don't have a family, I'm talking to people who are trying to plan for the future. If you and your girlfriend, you and your husband, boyfriend, whoever it is, you guys are both making $25,000 to $30,000 a year, and you don't have kids yet. Think about this. Think about this severely. Or if you guys are making around that, if not a little bit more, which would be great, and you do have a child or two, then really think about this. If you guys live in majority of places within Southeast Asia, majority places within Latin America, a few places in Eastern Europe, and a couple places in Africa, especially in the southern part of Africa, you guys who make anywhere from around $50,000 to $60,000 a year gross, you're touching anywhere from around $900 to $1,100 a week for a family of 3 to 4, and you live in anywhere of those regions within those continents. You're living in the States or places like Australia, right? Places like New Zealand. And instead of lower class to barely middle, you can then just take a flight to one of those countries and live in the top 1% to 5%. But that's a low level of living, right? You can't save anything. There's no emergency fund, right? You're not thinking about the future. You're not even thinking about the next month. How can you survive day to day? Whether you're getting paid weekly or bi-weekly. And a lot of people get paid bi-weekly, making that income as well, right? So how can you stretch things? I mean, like I said earlier, Section 8 housing, subsidized housing, right? Government funding, right? SNAP, EBT, WIC, right? Especially if you're bringing a kid into this life, you're not going out. You're not doing really anything that you actually want to do. You're stuck on job. You're stuck on working. To get help from the government, there's a minimum working requirement that you have to have. Your life is severely surrounded around work and the formalities on maintaining your dependency on the government. Solely, that is your job in that income bracket. That same number will, not can, it will increase your quality of life, somewhere by 5 to 10 times more, right? 500 to 1,000% more, however you guys want to term it, night and day. It will increase your quality of life in the moment. You can both save for an emergency fund and save for your retirement and still have fun on that same income bracket while possibly working less. Get me, working less. That's what the difference is of making around $50,000 or $1,100 to $1,200 a week, right? So your gross could be around 55 to 60K between living in a lot of parts, most parts of the Western world compared to more parts in the East and Southern world. Complete night and day difference. You guys can change the ability on how you work and make your income from being in an office or being in a hybrid situation to working fully remote or working on contract opportunities that allows you to work 3 to 6 months out of the year. So you're living a little more passively for the remainder times outside of your working schedule, right? You can live in that matter too. The goal is to make Western income in places that you're not in the West. It's the formula, guys, that's it. But the thing is, you don't have to bust your ass, and the thing is, you don't have to make a lot. We're talking about 50,000 is burdensome income, low class. I mean, if you make 50,000 in Australia, right, or New Zealand, you're closer to poverty, again, for a family of 4. But if you can make that in places like Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, South Africa, Romania, Hungary, There are 65 to 75 plus countries in this world where you can go from struggling to almost rich, literally overnight. This isn't no gimmick. This isn't no like step-by-step investment plan. If you're making 100 to 150,000 in the US and you can take a pay cut to work remote and or part-time, you can live better than what you're doing right now in your home country, guys. If you live in certain parts of the world, I can't stress this enough, because I tell my wife this all the time. We think America, or the origin countries we're in, because I can only speak from America, but we think that places like New Zealand, America, Australia, Canada, they're the end all be all. We think we have to live there to take advantage of our opportunity. All these places gives us passports. There is influence with the Western world. And just because we are part of this Western world, don't mean we have to fully, hear me out, indulge in it. The goal of this life is to have dominion and create our own future. We can't do that if we're caught up on working 2/3, 3/4, 4/5 of all of our time, our life, right? Our life expectancy is burdened because of work. It's not like most of us can work and even be rich. So how much of our time is really equitable to not just making ends meet, but building wealth? It's not. It's not at all, because it's not made that way. Now, the thing is fear. I get it, you know? The thing is people don't want to live like immigrants, right? The thing is people don't want to deal with visas. And what life isn't there pros and cons? Hear me out on this. If I have 1 or 2 children, if I'm part of a family of 3 or 4, and I get $1,000 a week over 5 years, $1,000 a week in the States, and I live in America over 5 years, somewhere in Florida on the East Coast, somewhere that's not as expensive. $1,000, just say that's my net pay over 5 years. Do $1,000 times 52, that's 52,000 net. Over 5 years, right? That's 260,000, 265,000, someone keep me honest. A little over $250,000 in net over 5 years. I'm talking about a hypothetical formula, but I already told you guys, making around 50K is burdensome. Say you're 25, between 25 and 30, you've touched $250,000 as a family of 3 to 4. It's so burdensome that you're probably not gonna have more than $5,000 in your bank account, I promise you. That means you can probably only save 1 check a year. You make $52,000 a year, but you can only save 900 to 1,000 of it. It's the same exact income. Please listen to this. And you wanna live somewhere in Jakarta, Indonesia. You wanna live somewhere in Zanzibar, right? You want to live somewhere in Kenya, right? Like, guys, the same working amount over 5 years, touching $250,000 net, you could probably have anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 saved. So now when you lose your job, when you need to take a break from work, because you have options now, you have flexibility, you have more control over finances, you can now build towards financial independence, or at least financial stability. And you're getting that working less. Why? Because now you're fully remote. You're working less due to proximity and due to borders, right? You literally have more control over your future. This is us trying to maneuver in the gray area. This is almost the best that most of us can do, but this is an option. Let's get over the understanding that of propaganda, like, and how it works. Like, let's get over that. They're lying to us. They're lying to us. They give us a passport. Remote work is real, right? You can actually save. Like, they're lying to us. You can actually retire on time, if not early. But the goal is people, systems, governments, certain countries, especially in the West, need a working economy. The economy works because people work. People pay taxes, and people promote a company by trading in their time. That's just how it works. That's how it works. It'll forever be that way. But the middle line, guys, for most of us, is taking the same information and knowledge and doing it better by just living somewhere else, especially living in a place where it's less volatile, where it's less harming. They're lying. It's safer in most places outside the States. Most places. I'm not going to say all, but it is. It's safer. It is. Especially being a melanated fella. or melanated lady. It is. So think of all this. But I want to stay at finances because there's people struggling. God, there's people I know. There's people I know who are making close to $200,000 struggling. Struggling, guys. They're lying to us. They've lied. Like, for you to make it in the States, not only do you have to make a couple $100,000 a year, you gotta be healthy so you don't end up in the hospital. You gotta have low to no kids, maybe one child, if not zero, because you're spending all this opportunity costs on children, daycare, health, an extra mouth to feed, an extra room for shelter, right? An extra space for transportation. Kids is mad expensive. But if you want a life that you whether you've been influenced by it or something came to you in a dream and you want a certain lifestyle, you can actually have it, guys. But you must change your environment. Like, a lot of people are not willing to do that. You know, we go to vacations, we look it up, we watch other people, but we don't want to take that step. I'm telling y'all right now, I know that there's people who can watch this video or who will watch this video and they have anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 in their bank account right now. Like, they can take it out and spend it. There's people who have money and they're dying still. They're thinking they have to work as if they're a teenager or as if they just came out of college, right? They're thinking that their quality of life, is attached to them clocking in. And they got high five figures to low six figures that they can spend liquid, lose their job, and they're okay if they change their way on how they think money is to be spent. Just because we make $150,000 don't mean we need to spend $98,000. We don't have to. We do not have to. There are 60 to 70 plus countries in this world outside of your origin country where you can not only be okay, guys, you guys can feel like you're rich. Isn't that wild? And I'm one of the few people who are taking a step out on that faith, you know what I'm saying? I've cut my income pretty severely. Yeah, I feel better, right? Yeah, we're good, guys. Like, it's crazy. I'm on the path to retire very early because I took a flight somewhere else. That's it. That's all it was. I took a flight somewhere else. I was willing to deal with the cultural changes, but my experience so far has been severely more positive than negative. So obviously that helps. It's a little subjective. But if we have an open mind and if we really truly understand quality of life and what that means, there's a lot of things we're willing to let go. We should be willing to let go. That's a whole nother topic and video, but I want to mention to y'all, the United States or places as such are telling us we have to strive, kill ourselves, bust our ass, break up our relationships, go into debt, and kill our health to make ends meet, to climb the ladder. And we don't. Most of us, and I end here, most of us can come out to any of those places I mentioned. Again, Eastern Europe, places like South and West Africa, places like Southeast Asia, places like Latin America, and some places in Southern America, where we can work not even the full capacity as we were working, but we can work for another 5 to 10 years and retire. Especially for my folk who are, around 45 plus, especially. But we don't gotta wait, guys. We don't have to. We do not have to. This is the best we can do with buyback time, is understanding where we can limit our liability. That is it. And secondarily, stretching our life expectancy with better health overall, being outside more, being connected with nature, eating fresher foods, being around less volatile people, less stress. That's all secondarily to what I'm discussing right now. But if you put everything in a box as a package, why wouldn't you want to go? But it's fear. It's someone telling us to not do that. It's somebody or a group of people, right? It's an environment not even promoting it. We don't talk about it. So here you go, talking about it. If you want to change your life, you can. You could do it literally next month. You could do it literally next week.